When our church is in turmoil, as she is today, it's good to remember the gifts that she gives us. Last week we remembered 3 saints in our church calendar who, at least in my mind, are gifts of God. The first is Monica, the mother of St. Augustine. Like many women of her day, we don't know much about her. Monica married a man named Patricius, a tough husband who put her down and went out with other women. They had 3 children. One was Augustine, and he was special to her. But he was a hard son to deal with. He was smart, well-educated, hooked on the lovely things around him. He wasn't interested in her advice at all, but she followed him anyway, convinced that God had something big for him. Above all, she wanted him to have faith. And finally, of course, after many years, her prayers were answered. Monica seems a lot like so many other men and women I know in our church. Mothers and fathers who love their kids and worry about them getting mixed up in the wrong things, but never give up on them. God gives them the grace to be faithful and patient with their children and with one another. I admire those people, and I learned so much from them. The church puts Monica's feast day the day before Augustine's celebration. She had a hand in his life. Augustine saw himself that he was like the dead son of the widowed mother whom Jesus raised in the gospel. He knew that his mother was part of God's mercy to him. And there's more than one Monica's in our church. Augustine himself is a gift. His wisdom still helps us enter the mystery of God and know our place in this world. We often hear him in our prayers and our readings. He invites us into an intimacy with God and to think thoughts our minds couldn't even dare to think. He was a wise bishop and a leader of his church, so God always will send leaders like him to us. This week we also celebrated the death of John the Baptist at the hands of Herod and his powerful wife Herodias. They killed him for confronting them. Now our church has a gift for speaking to the powers that be about the powerless and the poor and what's right. That message isn't always well heard. What about issues like capital punishment, immigration, abortion, care for the poor? John the Baptist represents that gift in the church that speaks to power, and it's a gift that makes us all uneasy, but God speaks in it. The church herself is a wonderful way of helping us to pray each day. That's a great gift, to see the day before us bringing God's blessings, unknown blessings, like the sun bringing light and life into our world each day. The evening as night falls, we remember in prayer that God's grace never fails. God's mercy is at work, even when we sleep. Small gifts, we say, helping us to pray, but they help us to live. The great sacraments of our church bring Jesus Christ himself to us. I'm the bread of life, Jesus says. And he comes to us in the Mass. He speaks to us in the sacraments and in the scriptures. How can we forget the gifts of God we have in our church? In our first reading today at Mass, Moses, like Joshua in our readings last week, enjoins the people of Israel to remember God's call. Is there any other nation that has gods so close as the Lord our God is to us whenever we call upon him? Moses says to the people. That's true for us too today in our church. God's close to us. And what greater gift do we have than that? God's close to us. Jesus, God's Son, is close to us. He's our companion. The mystery of his cross is a mirror of the mystery that we experience. Above all, in a time of turmoil, we experience the mystery of the Passion of Jesus. We experience that mystery with Him.